5, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. Behind the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
What's going on, everybody? We are back from break. We've been off for a little bit, getting some fun in the sun, having some private discussions.
Some of us having fun in the sun.
Yeah, some.
You know, us unfortunately, the rest of us have been working.
You live in the sun. What are you talking about?
You're right. You
probably had better weather than I did. Vegas weather was trash.
Really?
Yeah, it was like 50s most of the time. It rained the last day. It got down sometime to 40s at night. Like it just wasn't the best. But great trip. Glad I went. Learned a lot. But how y'all fellas been? How y'all been?
Good, man. Just knee deep in the season. So far, so good. 6-0. Got a couple kids with some seniors. All got some college offers. So all is well. Can't complain.
What about you, Deb?
Man, I've been busy training, really. Been doing these tour days, getting ready for this league that I'm about to join.
What?
This man said he doing tour days. He
doing tour days.
Huh?
Like, man,
you trying to join the XFL?
I ain't doing no XFL, man. Nah, I'm just trying to get back in the basketball shape for real. It's a difference between hooping shape and basketball shape.
100%.
I can hoop all day. I can give you straight. I can give you like 4 straight buckets without being tired. But when it comes to playing basketball, running up and down 5-on-5, I started off running up and down the court about 4 times before I got gassed. But now I give it a good 10 times now.
You know who's really good at conditioning and stuff like that?
There it goes. You see the smile. You know it's about to be a shot.
Only the greatest point guard of all time. The most conditioned point guard of all time. You know who it is. Chef Curry. For 3. Splash on him. Speaking of splashes, New England just had a nice splash play on the draw. 7-3.
Kenny already. Kenny ain't been back on the set for a hot 30 seconds yet. You already getting in my man.
I simply gave credit where credit was due. That's all I did. On this platform, I like to use my platform to big up other black men. So that's all I'm doing. It's simply celebrating another black man.
Wow. So you can't even say that with a straight face.
Oh, man. Good to be back, gentlemen. We got the Patriots and Cards. You know how I feel about the Cards or any team in Arizona. So y'all know I wasn't picking them.
Let me ask you something, though. What has Arizona done to you? Like, you just hate on all things Arizona.
It's just the players they happen to choose. I don't even know. If they didn't pick Kyler Murray and DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul, I'd like them. But they did. So I don't. And it sucks because I really like Devin Booker. But it's hard to root for him because he played with that low quality gentleman, Chris Paul. He be sleeping with people's wives. He be kicking people.
He's sleeping with people's wives. Oh, man.
I'm not touching that.
He ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Allegedly said, and there was no refute that came out, no staunch advocacy against. I know if my wife or somebody was accused me of cheating on my wife, I would do everything I could to publicly say no. That didn't happen.
This guy's starting early, boy. We ain't even been 5 minutes into the show.
Other people have different morals. John, I'm not gonna lie. After what I heard about the player that wanted to transfer, I think you talking about. I think it was Mike Leach is who you're referring to.
Oh, they had a release.
Yeah, it's been a little harder for me to have a lot of compassion that you had this heart attack after you was dogging my man's and he left. But prayers. I don't want nobody to die, but I'm not exactly super remorseful given how he treated that young man, at least from his story. But yeah, prayers to all involved. And I was late. I saw the play live, but did they give an update on Kyler? Like, is he done? Like, what they
Yeah,
say?
he's done for the night.
Oh, they
That's
did.
great.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think I was playing against them in fantasy, and it was coming down to that game. I know I got to play against Hopkins, who has no stats right now, so please keep that up. Yep, I was playing against Kyler Murray, and I'm up 3. And
and I'm
0.66.
down, so I'm like not happy about that.
That's gonna be a dub if Kyler's out, like y'all said. I thought
Yeah,
that
Kyler done. They said that at the end of the first quarter that he was done.
John said hamstring strain. Dang. So we can get into it quick then, since this is happening. Baltimore, as you can attest, Dev can't keep a running quarterback healthy. Kyler has this here injury. Like, I know running quarterbacks are the future, but if you're a running quarterback, especially in the last year of your deal, like, what do you do at this point?
Keep playing your ball, man. It's like the only thing you can really do is keep playing ball, because right now, as we can all can attest, that running quarterbacks do not get the same flags as pocket quarterbacks. So as soon as you start breaking out into that pocket, man, you is now a wide receiver, running back, or any one of them skill players now. So the best thing to do is just keep balling, because the more you keep thinking on how you should move and how you should play, most definitely a freak injury can pop up on that. And right now, it's just a freak accidents to some of these running quarterbacks. Because you got guys diving at your legs, you got guys that's trying to actually get that hit, that Sean Taylor hit on you, and it's just a shame that for the Ravens, luckily it was just a strain. What was that? PCL for Lamar. Hopefully nothing else comes above that, because the last time we had a quarterback that was strained, RG3, the next thing the next week he tried to go out there and try to make something out of himself, and he you know what I mean. So that's like the only scary thing for some of these running quarterbacks, man. You just don't want to end up like RG3.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And then who was it that? Oh, Russell Wilson, the shot that he took early in the game yesterday when he looked bad. I don't know how he made it back in the game, because the camera angle they had of him didn't look so hot. But
you see how Tyler Huntley took a shot and didn't come back in the game.
Mike didn't. Well, he ain't. Mike, he don't really a running quarterback, but he took a heck of a shot.
Mike White, he was taking the Bills most definitely left that symbol on his chest and on his ribs, boy. Because y'all see how he was walking off the field, man. He said every time he walked, it hurts. I was like, dang.
Yeah, they said they took him to the hospital for X-rays after the game, because that's tough. That's why you get. Well, he ain't really getting paid the big bucks yet, but that's why you pay him.
But one thing he did get out of that though is the respect from his team. Something that Zach Wilson most definitely won't be able to get from that now, because you had a guy that went out on the line and gave it his all and actually put his body on the line, because at one point in time the Jets ain't know what type of injury Mike White had. They were just like, oh, he's down, and then they just throw him back out there.
And the other part is he never threw anybody else under the bus. He never, you know what I'm saying? Like, with the difference is he just took it and kept it moving, as opposed to, your man not wanting to take any accountability. So I think that even endeared him more to his teammates. And I don't think we're going to ever see, his name just slipped my mind. Zach Wilson, thank you. Coming back as starting quarterback this season.
I think he almost got the Baker Mayfield train.
Yeah, because they put him third. So it happens.
Next up is inactive. That's where he had it.
So yeah, definitely prayers for all the quarterbacks. But Dev, you're saying when Lamar is healthy, he should come back.
I hate to say it, yes, because he got something that it's a statement for him. It's something that he has to prove. because you don't want to end this season like how this last season was. And now he coming back to the deal is the Ravens got an upper hand saying you can't finish the season now. You can't finish the last quarter of the season. And if you're trying to get that big guarantee money, you're gonna have to show that you're available when it matters.
Or do I not play and see what y'all do without me to prove my value and keep myself healthy? Because do we really believe Baltimore is a championship contender? If we do, if Lamar believes that in his heart of hearts, come back and play.
I think he does. I think he, I mean, it's something that we don't see inside that locker room. You know what I mean?
Training staff. Y'all can't keep running backs healthy to save y'all life. And this is going on years.
Well, you got to sit here and think what running back other than AP comes back after the 1 year of an ACL injury? You know what I mean? It's very hard to become mobile again off of that. And as we can see that Dobbins and Edwards is kind of struggling. Morley, Dobbins is struggling from it, but Kenny Drake is still back there. He's a third monster for us. He hasn't put on the show like he did in the beginning of the season, but he's still a threat, most definitely in the passing game also too. You see how he saved us 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins just made this disgusting catch. He was out of bounds.
Hands is crazy.
But that's nuts. With his left hand.
Yeah, his hands are crazy.
Yeah.
That was wild. Nah, Damien, I don't agree, man. I think I told y'all to start the year, I thought the Jets was for real. I didn't even know they'd be this good.
The defense is definitely for real. There's no question about that.
Mm-hmm. So I think they got some running backs there. They just need a quarterback and a number one.
I just think they need an offensive
I don't know if Wilson's a one yet. He's getting there, but I don't know if he's that yet.
I think the Jets need an offensive line.
Well, yeah, for
you
sure.
need to most definitely fix that offensive line.
And Damien, I agree. I just don't see it coming.
Well, until they actually surround him with, some real wide receiver. No, I shouldn't say real. I should say elite wide receiver talent. I think that you're not going to see him win a championship. Like until he gets a legit number one, I don't think we're going to see the best version of Lamar Jackson. Because I think that's part of the reason why he has to do so much for Baltimore in order for them to win, because you don't know week to week who's going to give what you're getting from your wide receiver. So, the only really consistent is Andrew. So I think that's part of the reason why he does so much. And also that's what leads to him getting, injured.
But how do you do that? What asset do you trade? Because you're not going to get it in free agency.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the problem. And the other part is that when you're a contender or when you're playing for a playoff spot, then that causes you to be mid-first round in terms of draft picks. So you're not going to really get the elite talent. So
There's been some receivers that's come out in these drafts, but they ain't getting them.
Yeah.
And the scouting department has been top notch. So I don't think they can't scout talent.
Right.
Steve Smith came there. Anquan Bolden, I think, came there, but that was a long time with a different type of quarterback. So I don't know if I'm a young, hot receiver, if that's where I'm going to sign. And so if you're trading for a young, hot receiver, you got to give some up to get them. So I just don't know what trade pieces you risk doing to get that talent. I agree. Andrews is still prime, so you still got some years left on him, but the window ain't getting wider at this point. The Jets
he's only 26. Lamar Jackson? 26?
Yeah, but the talent around him is getting older. And in his 26 ain't a normal 26. I don't think we none of us think Lamar is going to play till he's 40. So he got maybe one more big deal in him, another 5 to 7 years. with his
Maybe-
skill set.
I would say like maybe 8, maybe 9. You know, that's because that's 34.
I just
think he
don't
may
know
get
if he
to
can
that,
play
yeah.
like this that long.
But we also don't know if he if he's going to evolve into more of a pocket passer to where he doesn't have to run as much.
Because he was starting to be in the beginning of the season, he was doing more pocket than he was rushing or scrambling. So it was tending to go that way, but then Bateman got
guess
hit
what?
with an injury.
Y'all kept losing games in the fourth quarter because he wasn't running. And then he started running the ball in the fourth quarters, and y'all started closing some of them games.
I
He
just
was
think
winning some of them games with his legs in the fourth quarter.
I just think that without Dobbins and Gus Edwards in the beginning of the season, like a stout running back that can eat the clock up, I think that's what kind of gave us some of them games. We gave up some of them games, like the Dolphins and the Bills game. But you know, to your point, back then when we didn't have a solid running back, yeah, Lamar had to do everything. Lamar was your quarterback and running back at that time. But like I said, Gus Edwards and Dobbins is coming on at the perfect time. So I just think now, what you got a more healthier back being back there with Lamar, we can run that clock out just like how we did Pittsburgh yesterday.
I mean, Pittsburgh's also not that good, but yeah.
Hey, but they wasn't able to stop. They wasn't able to stop the first down and stop the run either.
Take a win however you could get it.
I agree with that. Or tie in some cases.
I see y'all activating Carson Wentz this week. But he playing backup. I heard he playing backup so far.
One play away.
One play away.
I got nothing.
What?
I'm like, what do y'all want me to say?
Ladies and gentlemen, the first time in real talk history that Ray Stradamus, like he like to call himself, doesn't have anything to say. Hold on, I am slipping. Hold on.
What do you mean by that?
Like what?
Emotional damage.
Is that what you having, Ray? Like,
100%.
like are you back?
But wait, no, you okay? He's just the backup.
Oh my God!
Does that make you that much concern?
100%. This is bad. This is bad. Like this is Kirk Cousins and RG3 all over again. You don't. I don't know, man. I don't
Washington
get it.
out here, Washington.
Can't
Lord
get
have
out.
mercy.
Up.
We must stay
Wait.
focused, brothers. We must stay focused.
We finally got all our offensive weapons back. We're good. And you know what? The thing what makes Carson Wentz so bad is that I could see, God forbid, Taylor Heineke getting hurt because the Giants have a good defense. Carson might even come in and win that game. And then you get the hope. Now we got the controversy. And then, well, Carson looked good that second half when he came in. So let's just rest Taylor one more week. And then he looks awful. And you're like, why didn't we bring Taylor back? Like, they love this Carson Wentz character for God knows what reason. Carolina was like, Baker is not it. We're out. Just, it's not going to work. He's not the future. Get him out of there. Just let him go sign with some contender. Don't let him be your problem. But Ron Rivera or whoever's running things just hard-headed. So,
well, you know, he is costing them a lot of money. And, you know, we do know that your owner is under fire. So he might be trying to get the last little bang for his buck before he had to get up out of there.
that man so rich, he ain't worried about no Carson Wentz contract. Like, that be the crazy part. Oh, man, they forced you to sell the team. Yeah, I just paid $6 billion.
Right.
Like, oh my God, y'all made me sell it. Like,
him and Robert Sarver are all broken up.
Yeah, like I'm just gonna reinvest that somewhere else or become a silent. Like it's just whatever. So to Miami, let's go into Miami. I was in Vegas and I was watching the games. It had a cool little setup at Caesars. You pay $50, you get 2 drinks and a seat. And you know they got 1,000
Games everywhere.
But the night game started, and it was 4 gentlemen, young guys, and one dude yells out because the ticker went across where they were all picking the Monday night game or Sunday night game. Every single analyst picked Miami. Chargers defense ain't it. Tua is going to bounce back. Tua won't have another bad game. Waddle and Hill about to break the record for combined yards. And Tyreek Hill, yeah, he's the most yards in Dolphins history, but he's going for 1,800. He ain't even worried about what he got right now. And all that talk. And these little kids said 400 on the Chargers. And the dude at the window looked back like, what? Exactly. They like, y'all gonna bring me some money? And we all know history was made. Like the Chargers figured it out. They looked good. Tua looked absolutely atrocious. And what is it? Chris Collinsworth? Does he do Sunday night?
Yes.
Yeah. I can't stand that man in his voice.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
Yes, it's awful. I can't, man. If I could just rip out his vocal cords, I wouldn't have to hear his voice. But he just kept, what is going on with Tua? And he just kept making excuses
You sound like him.
as to why Tua wasn't playing well.
Yeah, I don't like Chris Collinsworth.
And I'm like, y'all been disrespecting the Chargers because they got 3 starters out this whole second half. Maybe they can play. Like Asante Samuel Jr. is a good corner. Like, what do y'all like? It was just funny to see. So it's back-to-back weeks where the pressure is starting to mount and Tua is starting to crumble like the walls of Jericho.
Going biblical.
my question for you gentlemen is, who is Tua? Is he the guy that leads the league in completion percentage and QBR? Or is he this guy we've been seeing these last 2 weeks? Like who is he?
I don't know. I think it's still to be determined. It's just, and I think he's kind of in the same boat as Dak Prescott. My quarterback is consistency is it's just lacking with those 2 guys, and so I'm not sure with Tua because you got everything that you need pretty much to be successful. Yeah, and at one time it seemed like that. I think the kind of the scouting report is now on, sit on the short routes because he can't, the arm strength, he can't, do anything deep. And so I think that's what we're seeing in these last couple of weeks. So it's going to be, have to be an adjustment on McDaniel's part to figure out how he's going to, scheme to make Tua be effective again. But I think you still have to, you have the jury still out. Like he still has to prove that he's a legitimate starter or somebody that you can count on going forward. But I want to give Justin Herbert some love because we just saw, once he has his weapons, they really lit up. And we know that the Miami secondary is not exactly any slouches. Xavier Howard is one of the top corners in the league.
Ooh, I don't know. The tight end just made a nice one. Oh, that's Robbie Anderson Jr. Nice one, not left-handed, one-hand grab. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh no, you good. Yeah, so I think this is more of a statement about Justin Herbert coming up in a big spot because I had my questions about like we've been hyping up Justin Herbert a lot this year, and I said before the season started, like this has got to be the prove it. Yeah, he's got to make the playoffs because he's got everything in place, and now we see that he's got his weapons back and how productive he was. So I think it's more so about the Chargers being more. I think it's more so about the Chargers than it is about Tua. But having said all of that, if you're a Dolphins fan, you got to have questions because again, this is 2 weeks in a row in which Tua hasn't been, and that ain't it. So, and this is a stretch. This is a stretch run. Like now we're gonna get to cold weather. They got to go into these cold weather cities. potentially, and you got to be able to cut that ball through the wind. You got to be able to, have that tight spiral to cut through the wind. So his lack of arm strength can really become a glaring issue. So I would be really concerned if I'm a Dolphins fan.
So, Kenny, as it stands today, based on what you've seen, because that was 3 weeks ago, a couple weeks after he came back, it was Tua for MVP.
Right.
So, if you're the Dolphins, what do you do? Are you giving this man a big long-term deal? Are you franchising him? Like, what do you do as of today?
If I'm the one making the decision, I'm franchising him because, one, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. And then two, I have to wait and, I have to see how this season plays out. Like if they make a deep playoff run, then maybe I would be more inclined to sign him to a long-term deal. But if they fizzle out and then go out in the first round of the playoffs or something along that line, then I'm definitely franchising them.
And just quick update, I looked at their roster. The next week, this Saturday, it's at Buffalo. Then the following week, at Christmas Day, Green Bay comes to them.
Okay.
Then they turn around and go to New England January 1st.
Freezing again.
And then they host the Jets to end the season.
Okay. So they got 2 out of the 4 in cold climates.
But even the home games, I mean, if you believe in Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, that's one thing. But the Jets ain't no slouch, and that's the last game of the season. Right. That's going to be competitive.
You could they could go 1-3
easily.
Yeah.
I mean, we're watching the Patriots play right now, so you never know because all 3 of them teams is going to be in a similar boat, the way it seems. So, and the Cardinals did just score a touchdown. James Conner on a 10-yard touchdown run. If anyone has or is playing against him, 10-yard touchdown for James Conner. Dev, your thoughts?
I had asked y'all right before Tua had came back. I said, now, if Tua come back and the Dolphins start sliding, whose fault is it? Is it more Tua's or is it more to the Dolphins? I forgot what y'all said, but I was leaning towards Tua. I said, I don't think Tua is ready to take that next step. That first half was cool. He showed us some things that, all right, Tua, maybe you're not as bad as everybody kind of put you in that low toe with Jared Goff, Sam Darnold. Maybe you're a little bit better than them. And so we had put him in the category with Herbert and Joe Burrow and stuff like that. Now we got questions about Tua, which we all should have questions. And I'm with Kenny. I wouldn't give him the big deal yet. Number one, he hasn't shown health. Show he can stay healthy. Number two, right now he ain't showing that he can be the quarterback that can take you deep into the playoffs. It seems like if teams have the speed to match Waddle to win Hill, maybe they had a recipe to hold Miami, and it seemed like the Chargers had every answer for. They might not have been everywhere that Hill was, but at least they was not too far behind Hill, and Hill wasn't too explosive last night. They was able to contain them most as best as they can, and I'm not putting it all on Tua. This is also the coaching staff to try to switch to a game up just a little bit. These try to put him in better surroundings, but it doesn't. It looked like Miami showed their hand in the beginning of the season. Now everybody's seeing their hand, and nobody's not really taking Miami serious no more. And I'm not gonna put it all on Tua, you know what I mean? Because you gotta think, Miami is having the first year head coach. Secondly, this is the first time that Tua had, Tyreek Hill. He already had Waddle, but for him to all play together. So it's a lot of first times for this Dolphins team, and I think now we are finally seeing what the first time looked like for them. You know what I mean? So I just think if they do make the playoffs, they just a first round team. I think everybody's not scared of that speed no more.
So I think I don't know that they're not scared of the speed. I think what they've determined is they can scheme against it.
Okay, I take that.
And now that the tape is out, I think adjustments are being made. And to Kenny's point earlier, that first play of the game, Hill had him beat. It was just slightly underthrown. And if you can play zone behind it and Jeff Wilson, you're not going to use Wilson and Mostert to run the ball consistently. I think we're going to see more of this. So I did give Tua his credit, but I've never been a Tua guy. And y'all know I'm pretty stubborn. You got to really show me.
No, no way.
Hey,
What do you mean by that?
I only know what I see, and I only, based off what I see.
Sometimes you
And
be
I don't
seeing some crazy things. Sometimes,
sometimes you got to be able to see beyond what you think you see. Speaking of which, I am not going to do what I want to do with this, but I do want to just give congratulations. I'll start with it. I can imagine being in Carolina on a Sunday, flying to LA on a Tuesday, and throwing a walk-off darn near touchdown on a Thursday. Like, you can say whatever you want about Baker Mayfield and the commercials and his lack of success. That's impressive. No Cooper Kupp, no Odell, no, I don't think Robinson played. You got Cam Akers, who they've been trying to find a way to get rid of. And you throwing a Ben Skoranek and some other guys.
Van Jefferson. That was the man that got the winning touchdown. Van Jefferson.
And it was just a great throw.
Great throw.
So I just wanted to, sometime I think I've been kind of hard on him this year. I think I told him he should quit. Maybe. I don't know if I went.
Yeah,
you
did. You did.
I might have, because it's been bad. But
I know you did.
I don't want him in DC, so I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying congratulations on a job well done. My question for y'all is, what happens with the Rams the rest of the year? Is this a flash in a bottle, or is this a new environment with a young quarterback with a great offensive coordinator? And we've seen how coaching can make a difference. So is Baker in this situation? Is this a resurgence? Is this the second coming? Can Sean McVay turn Baker into what Drew Brees became when he went to New Orleans? Dev, your thoughts?
First of all, Las Vegas Raiders. Just trash, man.
Josh McDaniels got to go. That was my wild card when I picked him earlier in the year, and he has proven to not be. I thought he'd be better the second time around. Nah.
I know Las Vegas is pretty much right now. Because there's no way that you let this man who do not know. I don't care how much you looked at that daggone playbook. I don't care. There's not enough time between the time he left Carolina till he got LA, which is in a different time zone. So that means now time is all screwed up. He got jet lag and everything.
And that's trash. I can attest.
And this guy comes in and throws a walk-off touchdown. Like, wow, this is the guy that been headbutting people without helmets.
Yeah, you gotta stop that. That's weird.
It's like, oh my god, yo, it's like
emotional damage, brain damage.
That's everything damage, man. It's like cerebral palsy damage, man. It's like, oh my goodness. But I think this is an okay audition for Baker. Baker is auditioning to be a backup. I'm sorry, he's no longer a starter in this NFL no more. Only way he will become a starter if the Jets finally give up on Zach Wilson and Mike White don't want the starting job no more. That's the only way he will become a starting quarterback. But I think this is good for Baker. I think he do need to go sit behind Matt Stafford if Matt Stafford do come back another year. Go sit behind him throughout the off season and learn and pick his brain. And maybe a resurgence of Baker Mayfield will come about 2 to 3 years from now. He need to call. You know who he need to call? He need to call Geno Smith and ask Geno, what is the recipe what is the blueprint that you took to learn what is like 5 years behind Russ, or at least 5 years without being a starting quarterback?
Yeah, it's at least 3 with Russ.
It
was a couple years with the Giants.
And how did you able to turn that page once it was your turn? You know, what with Pete Carroll? Because Pete Carroll didn't switch anything up he did from Russ, really. He kept the same players. He kept the same playbook. True. He kept the same, he just got rid of the old players, really. You know what I mean? And Geno Smith, we all been on in this panel talking about Geno Smith can be comeback player of the year. Geno Smith deserves some type of award. Pete Carroll deserves some type of award. But I think that's what Baker most definitely going to have to take a page out of if he's looking to become a starting quarterback ever again in the NFL. I think it will do him justice to sit behind Matt Stafford maybe a year or two. If like I said, if Matt Stafford do come back, learn a whole playbook from Sean McVay, and then maybe it would be an easy transition from if they want to move on from Matthew Stafford. At least they have a vet now that's sat behind Matthew Stafford and groomed behind Stafford, and maybe they can build that trust with Baker Mayfield, and then you already got Cooper Kupp. You already have Allen Robinson. They have a nice core of offensive pieces for the next set of quarterback to come in behind Stafford. So if I was Baker, man, I'd take all the chances that the Rams is giving you. Take it, run with it, learn it, and hopefully another team can give you that position to be a back or quarterback.
Okay. Oh man, Damien in here shooting at my man's. That's cool. Kenny, your thoughts?
I'm gonna disagree slightly with Dev, and I think that this is a shot in the dark for the Rams. I think there's questions whether or not Stafford is going to come back next season. I think he's 35 or going to be 36 going into next season. So I think they're going to use the rest. And this team is not the season's over for them. They're not a playoff team. So I think they're going to use the rest of this year to evaluate Baker Mayfield to see if he's somebody that they can move forward with. If they don't do that, I'm going to throw another team out there that I think he might get one last chance to be a starting quarterback, and that's the New Orleans Saints. I think you got questions about you're not moving forward with Andy Dalton as your starting quarterback, I don't think, in my opinion. And Jameis, I think, unfortunately, he's kind of in the same boat to Dev's point about being a backup for the rest of his career. So I could see them maybe taking a chance to see if they could, find lightning in a bottle with Baker, because you do have offensive talent there. You know what I'm saying? And Mike Thomas, you got a Kamara in the crew. So you got some offensive talent. You just need somebody that can pull the trigger. So I think that's the only place that he can get another opportunity to be a starting quarterback. But I think it can only happen if he's able to, take this opportunity and run with it. And, he's with a quote unquote offensive genius, or, that's the title that McVay has been given. So if anybody's going to put him in a position to be successful, you would think it would be McVay, and we kind of saw that to a degree in this game. So I think this is his last audition, and I think it's his last opportunity. But I'm not going to, having said all of that, I'm not really confident that he's going to. I think this is more like you're going to see good Baker and bad Baker. So while we see him being up this week, then next week he could throw out a dud. So I think he's in that same boat with Tua and Dak in terms of inconsistency. So I don't really have a whole lot of confidence that he will, take this opportunity and run with it. I just think he'll be the same Baker.
Yeah, I ain't saying when he take the opportunity, he's going to do good with it. Now, I just said this is the time to take that opportunity.
Yeah. No,
you know what I mean? Because Like,
Just
you know,
expound
me and you kind of
piggyback.
saying the same thing. This is, we think this could be it for him. You know what I mean? This is, I don't really see Arizona could be another team to throw in there because now Kyler Murray can't stay healthy. Even though you spent a lot of money on,
You spent too much money. They got to see that. They're going to see that through. Either that or they're going to trade him. But I think they're stuck together.
I mean, I think it's a situation of, is he good or is he not good? I think the hard part with Baker and the part that gets undersold a lot, and I guess and Skip Bayless has pointed this out, and Skip was in the news today.
was he?
I guess we can get into that because I'm confused a bit by the outrage, but we can discuss it in more detail. But he's never really had great receiver talent. Like, he's had good running backs in Cleveland, but we saw what Tua became. We saw what Justin Herbert became. You see what these quarterbacks become. Josh Allen, when you get him to Stephon Diggs. When you get these young guys talent, we saw Kirk Cousins being reborn with Justin Jefferson. Like,
he had OBJ.
He didn't have the right OBJ. Like, even the Rams version they got was still a recovering OBJ. But I think
the Cowboys didn't even sign OBJ. They took T.Y. Hilton.
And I don't know that offense was suitable for Odell either. Like, it just seems like there's a lot of factors that would come off as excuses for most people, but he's been in run-happy offenses with constantly changing head coaches, offensive coordinators, and inconsistent talent at wide receiver. And then Carolina wasn't exactly this great solution. And then Robbie Anderson didn't want him there before he even got there. Like, it was just a mess. So I would like to see him, but I can't even say he's going to get that in the second half of this year because there ain't going to be no Cooper Kupp. They're not really going to bring back. I don't know if Higbee's playing. Like, this isn't a good team either. But if he can find a way to play well, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Yeah, okay. I think you look at
Jarvis Landry though, and OBJ,
and
David
Njoku.
Like,
and
the cover wasn't bare.
That year they went to the playoffs. He went to the playoffs and won a game. He won a playoff game in Cleveland.
Man, he ran Baker off. Baker ran OBJ off though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. They seem to be personally good, but it was a lot of other stuff. For whatever reason, it didn't work.
That was for the kitchen.
I think if he could manage and the Pats hit a field goal to go into halftime 13-10 down, I think if he can do well, I think we've talked about a couple. He's going to be cheap. So if I'm either New York team, I think he can be part of the competition. I think there's another team out there. If Lance isn't ready, like, there's opportunities, but he got to play well. And I just don't know that he is capable. And he can't be in a system where he has to push the ball down the field. Like Tua, he don't got that kind of arm. And he's short. Mm-hmm. So you need a more creative West Coastian type offense, which I think what he's going to get in LA, which will help him. But I don't know if there's.
I think he has a bigger arm than Tua, though, to be fair.
You think it's bigger and accurate?
I think he has a stronger arm, I should say. I think he has a
stronger arm. I agree, but his down the field passing isn't very precise. Yeah. It can get there, but where's it going to go? So that's more so my point. It can get there, but it's going to be 4 yards out of bounds. It don't matter. So I don't know. I don't know. But Kenny, I know you said you got to get ready to run, but I did want to get your thoughts on Tom Brady. You had some comments in our group chat, and it sparked a nice debate.
Where's my popcorn when I need it?
So, Kenny, I would like to give you the opportunity to speak on the performance from Tom Brady yesterday and what you saw.
No, I was just messing with you more so. Like that was really more what that was about, because as fast as you said that, he needs to play till he's 50, then as soon as you said that, you literally jinxed the man, because he just came out here and just threw up a dud.
That was probably the worst game I've ever seen him play, other than maybe the New Orleans game. Like, that was hard to watch, because I was watching in Vegas on the massive screen, and it was ugly. Now, there was a lot of 49ers fans in there for whatever reason, so they was loving
West
life.
Coast, so yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But man, that was bad.
Yeah,
But I will say this. I believe there was 2 calls early that really changed the outcome of that game. There was a blown illegal contact on Chris Godwin that would have sent him, that would at least gave him first and goal from like the 5. And I think they ended up kicking a field goal. No, they went for it on 4th and didn't get it. And that to me changed. And that was a big blown call. And then there was another call that was early.
The deep one for Evans that got called back.
Yeah. And so after that, game over. And he just started missing people. He was high, like he just inaccurate. I still think they're going to the division, so somebody's still gonna have to deal with him in the playoffs.
I mean, that ain't saying much though. But you're right. I mean, you're right. But
if your Cowboys got to welcome Tom Brady first week,
yeah, like
that's the game I don't want to have to play.
I'm not gonna lie, like as much as the mystique of Tom Brady, and him being at home and all of that stuff, I think this is the best chance that we would have as Cowboys fans to knock them off, because we already came up short earlier in the season. But I just think everything, and I think this has just been kind of a microcosm of the whole season, is that things have just not been able to click, and things have just not been able, they've not been able to sustain any level of success, whether it's offensively, defensively. Like, I picked up the Tampa Bay defense in fantasy thinking I was going to have a big day. They're going against, Purdy with, new guys, second-round quarterback. I thought they were going to have
Debo got hurt early.
Right, exactly. So I just knew that they was going to have a field day, and that was just ugly. And I think, and really quick to touch on the Skip thing, because I got to go after this, but I just think that Skip he rides a little too hard for Brady, and that's kind of his personality, where he loves hard. The people that he rides for, he rides hard for him. And I just think he just went a little out of bounds. I mean, it wasn't anything like huge, but he was a little disrespectful to Shannon Sharp, because that's a Hall of Famer and a 3-time Super Bowl champion, and you kind of like, dismissed him like, oh, you were never as good as Tom Brady. Like, there's no separate wings in the Hall of Fame. They both go into the same place.
I mean,
so
but Deion said there should be a JV version.
Understood, but I'm saying in terms.
But you think Shannon Sharp should be the JV version?
In that JV version. So
listen, I agree, but listen, Jordan's Jordan. Like, Karl Malone, great. It's different.
It is, but here's what I'll say.
And I think that's the tough part, is because he's in my opinion, and I definitely think in Skip's opinion, so much better because of the longevity, the numbers, the championships. Like, I don't know if there's been a more complete best in a sport when you factor in the stuff you're supposed to factor in. Like, he checks every box.
Don't get me wrong.
It's hard to challenge that at this point, because we've just seen him do it recently. Like, it was an awful game, but we can't jump all the way out the window like I'm sure Shannon wants to, because Tom Brady's made Shannon look bad for a long time. So I think that was that play, and Skip got defensive because the people Skip care about, and he threw a shot. But the way the pause, it was like Shannon was going to move on, and then it was like something grabbed him, like, nah.
Because you cannot tell another man that for you to say at the age of 35 he was way better than you. It's like you can't tell.
But we do that all the
Skip
time.
never
We do that right
laced
now with LeBron and George.
Skip had never laced or snapped a helmet in the day of his life. He wouldn't know at the age of 35 what it's like to be putting on cleats and helmets. So for you to sit there, like Kenny said, to joyride that man that much, for you to disrespect another man to say that's like me saying I am way better than you in whatever sports category me and you want to talk about. That's like a disrespect. I understand you have a certain level of confidence in that person. Yes, Tom Brady has did something that no 35, 37, 40-year-old man never did in NFL. We acknowledge that, we've seen that. But for you to call out and say that he was better than him, like Shannon Sharp is nowhere near a washed tight end. Shannon Sharp was one of the greatest tight ends of all time. Shannon Sharp took way more hits and punishments than any that Tom Brady would ever have to take. And that's that's one of the reasons why that Shannon Sharp's career had ended so, at the time that it ended. You know what I mean? But 35, that's an old head in the NFL. You know what I mean? That's longevity in the NFL. So that was my only take about Skip. Now understand, like I said, we know who Brady is. Brady is going to go down as that Jordan top tier 1 Hall of Famer. And there's no disrespect. Brady deserves that. But for you to say that compare two guys who don't play the same position and to make it seem like Shannon Sharp was some wash or a chubby guy, and you know what I mean? It was just like I got offended when Skip said. I was like, no, man, Shannon ain't no slouch, man. Shannon, you can't talk to Uncle Shay like that. Now if Stephen A was on the other end and he was like, oh, Tom Brady is better. Yes. Now that's a different comparison because Stephen A never played.
Right.
You know what I mean? But to say Shannon Sharp, not even Shannon Sharp, it can be a player who is not even a Hall of Fame. If you made it to the NFL and you gave it your all, who was the next person to discredit of what you did in your time in the NFL?
Me.
Go ahead, Ray.
I'm out, guys. Y'all hold it down.
That's what a bust is.
All right.
Like that's a bust.
Right.
You made it and you wasn't good enough.
But what you didn't make it.
Obviously, Shannon Sharp's not a bust, he's Hall of Famer. I just think, and this is where it's hard for me to really, it's almost like the Mike Leach thing earlier where I said, it's hard for me to be sympathetic to Shannon because Shannon been dogging some people personally on his platform.
Now, I'm not saying that Shannon is the same.
So when you start saying why you would take a personal shot, like you've been taking personal shots at people the whole time you've been on TV. Like you've crossed the line on personal with a number of people when it was about the vaccine and other stuff. So don't now expect a whole bunch of people to run to your defense because now somebody personally attacked you. Like you've been personally attacking people. You sow it, you reap it. If you can't take it, don't dish it. Like you ain't above reproach. And yeah, it was a shot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it wasn't a shot. But for your ego to be so big that now you can do it to other men that were great. Kyrie Irving is great.
Most definitely.
So when you can do it to other great people, expect great people to do it to you. And it ain't like Skip some washed man. Like Skip has been around the sports longer than most anybody. He has relationships with people we would never know. So it ain't like his criticism ain't like invalid. I think Shannon could have handled it better. I did not think it was that offensive, especially given how you've been going at people recently, especially on social media. You definitely love going personal on social media. You live for setting the troll straight or, criticizing and making people feel small. Like that's all he do on social media is respond to people and try and put them down. So don't get up here and act like, oh no, you can't say that to me. No, I'm not with that. If you a troll and you like trolling people, live with it. But that's hold on. Damien said, "Skip can dish Shannon." I don't really follow. Am I missing it?
Yeah, I don't know that one either. It's okay when they attack him.
I think he's saying people mad at Skip for attacking Shannon, but when Jalen Rose and Richard Sherman come for Skip, it's okay. And that's true because Richard Sherman loves the opportunity to try and put Skip in his place.
See, Richard Sherman is a guy I don't pay attention to that much either. He's almost in that Draymond category.
Don't do that. Don't do.
He's almost in that. I'm most definitely not a fan of Richard Sherman now that he got his podcast and certain things he be saying. And like I said, we are entitled to their own opinion, but I'm just not a fan of Richard Sherman. He be saying some off the wall stuff too.
Yeah, I'm not. And that little incident over the summer, he made that disappear. So more power to him. But I ain't forget. I saw the video. That same yelling you was doing on TV, I seen it on that camera. So don't get too crazy. But yeah, I didn't watch the rest of the show. They seem to have moved on. I think they just re-upped, so they should be around for a while. But
see, but I don't think that personal attack those two should be angry at each other or anything. You know what I mean? Like I said, Skip is entitled to his own opinion. I just felt like that little shot, you know what I mean, just to try to compare a man to a, you know what I mean, like he's better than you was at the age of 30, you know what I mean, that I think that shot
it wasn't necessary. It didn't help the argument. Like it didn't.
Yeah. I just think if Skip would have took that part out the argument, I don't think it would have got as much attention that it got for him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So we've given the Giants some credit on this show. Appropriately so. I've been critical of Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones, I believe rightfully so. And they decided not to play football this weekend. It was ugly early. I got up because I was, on the West Coast, everything is off. So I think I got up at like 5 or 6, and the game started like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. or something. And I went up in the shower right after the game started. By the time I got out the shower, it was 21-0. I said, my God, what did I miss? Like, and it just never.
Oh my God.
The sad part, it never got competitive. Like, they was just running it up. And thank God Miles Sanders, because I started him. He went nuts. I had and played against A.J. Brown, so that was a gift and a curse. But, man, what a display. Jalen Hurts said, don't nobody want to win MVP. I guess I'll just go ahead and put my name at the top of the list.
It looked like he's about to take it.
Because that was a performance. So my question is similar to the Dolphins and Tua. If you're the Giants, you started the season well, but things seem to be tailing off. Saquon's up. Daniel Jones has not been extended. What do you do? Is it time? Do you try and tweak it, or is it time to just say the process didn't work and time to start over?
I say tweak it.
You got a young defense.
They got a good core on offense and defense. I think that the Giants don't know how to play December football. And December football is the most important football of all time, in my opinion. Because this is the change of weather. Just like how we talked about Miami. Now the guy played a couple games in the cold. And, keep going hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold. And that's how I look at the Jets and the Giants right now. Is can y'all play in the cold? Even though y'all might live in the cold, but when the last time the Jets and the Giants actually played meaningful football in the month of December and going into January? It's been a minute. And they didn't went through different coaches, different GMs, different quarterbacks, running backs on both sides of the on both sides, really. And I think the Giants are just they are suffering what the Jaguars is suffering now. They just don't know how to finish games, and they don't have that veteran leadership to actually show them how to win these games. Everybody is young. The coaching staff is young. They fairly new to the Giants. Um, Daniel Jones, nobody believed in him. Saquon, everybody kind of wrote him off because of injury. Nobody really is putting him as a top back anymore. And
I mean, he has moments, but I think it's the word of the day. It's just not consistent.
mm-hmm. And that's what the Giants are. They're not consistent. They don't have a consistent winning team. They, like I said, I just think they're going through that trial that Jacksonville was kind of going through in Detroit. Just like you at the hump, but you just don't know how to seem to just get over that, just to get over it now. It's like you reach your peak, but now how do you adjust? How do you mature from it? And I think that's what the Giants and the Jets are about to experience, right along with the Dolphins, right along with some of these young first time head coaches and young quarterbacks. So I think they for the Giants, you retweak it a little bit because, in my opinion, there's no other quarterback that's going to really get you over the hump right now. Unless you want to do what Indianapolis Colts is doing, keep on renting all these 1-year-old quarterbacks, then by all means, that's going to do nothing but set you back, in my opinion. So I just think you just keep this core together, and hopefully you'll catch somebody. We all know how Dallas like the 1 minute be the Super Bowl contender team, then the next minute Dallas drive themselves out because Dallas almost drive themselves out of Houston yesterday. The Texans almost caught them. So it's just like I said, Johnson's most definitely need to just keep this team together, add some couple more pieces to the mix, and I think the Giants will be a good playoff team for right now.
Okay. I'm not as convinced. I blow it up. I don't think they're our future. And I think the replacements are easy. I saw a list of like excuse me. Like the free agent running back class is loaded.
Loaded. The free agent quarterback class is kind of loaded too.
Like there's options that are available. The draft class got a couple in it. Like I just think there are other options specifically at those positions that you can go get for cheaper because you got to pay Saquon at this point. And he's not worth it to me. Like I think he's supremely talented, but I don't think he's worth. I wouldn't pay him more than $7-8 million a year.
Do you think if he go to a new system, maybe he might be worth it, or you just think he's what he is?
Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. I think he's supremely talented. So I think he's like. I think he could be Nick Chubb. I think they're similar type backs, and I think he might be even a better pass catcher. But he can't stay healthy, and the system and line is not there to really help maximize his ability.
Right.
So, given that is the system and environment, I wouldn't give him the money. He's not McCaffrey dynamic. He's not Kamara dynamic, which is I think what you need when you have offenses that bad offensive lines. Like he runs strong, but there's so many times he trip over his own feet and stuff because he's so low and compact. I just wouldn't do it. A big play out of halftime, a running play to Strong Jr. To start, and I believe the Pats are now in the red zone.
The way he running, he look like he's strong.
Ran out of gas and then had to cut that thing on in, Pierre Strong Jr.
Yeah, he ran out of gas. You can clearly see it.
And another run play there. But I did want to switch over. Yeah, we can leave Russell alone. I ain't gonna pile on Russ tonight.
You ain't gonna cook Russ?
Nah, I'm
gonna go ahead and cook him. Man, that let's ride, man.
Oh man,
It
go get him.
It is over. The ride is over. Everybody, put your horses back in the stable. We would like to thank y'all for joining us this season. But the Denver Broncos fairgrounds will close early this year due to the fact that we will not make the playoffs. Russ, he cooked us. He took our money and he gave it to Sierra, and Sierra ain't giving it back. We traded some of our good players, but we still remain the top defense in the league. But let's ride on home. Giddy up.
Oh man, I was trying to let Russ cook, but
nope.
You've left me no choice.
Emotional damage.
Broncos country, I know y'all heard. I remember when Russ came there, it was kicking and screaming. Oh my God, the light skin Keith Sweat coming over, and now he done made y'all cry, and not for a good reason. He took y'all money. You know what's crazy? We haven't heard from John Elway this whole entire time. The whole entire time.
Maybe they're just cursed.
Ooh. Who you think put that
Elway's the issue? Elway did something. You know what it is? Elway did Mike Flores wrong. I'm sorry, Brian Flores wrong. Since he's done Brian Flores wrong, the football gods have said you will not have a successful quarterback unless you get the second or third greatest quarterback of all time. But anybody else?
You know what happened?
Talk to them.
They signed Brock Osweiler to that big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they always make stupid decisions when it comes to quarterback.
That's the curse. They can't get it right.
Hey, man, you think Peyton Manning put that hex on them?
Nah.
Said,
From what I understand, they've done Peyton real well. He goes back to Denver a lot. It's Indianapolis that didn't do him right. And he don't go back to Indiana much.
They didn't do Andrew Luck right.
This is correct. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at, and that's just wild to me. Absolutely wild how much of a disappointment and how quickly that the whole division has just been such a disappointment. As amazing as the NFC East has been, the AFC West has been as disappointing, if not worse.
Except for Kansas City.
Except for Kansas City. And the Chargers, they stay still around. But we expected the AFC West to do what the NFC East is doing.
Yeah.
All of them making. Remember when what's his name? Chris was on here talking about, oh yeah, all four can make it. And I said, boy, ain't no way all four can make it because somebody can't make it. And now they might get one, two at the most.
They don't even get one. Another division gonna carry three because of them. I don't know what division that's going to be, but another division might carry three.
That's facts. That's facts. So yeah, to the association, we're gonna get some basketball in here, and then we're gonna get out y'all way so y'all can finish enjoying the game.
And I can go ahead, finish back my training, and I ain't training no more tonight. I'm tired.
But I would just like to say, and I don't watch First Take, so if I'm off base, Dev, you can correct me.
Okay.
But I think it's about time I hear a little more appreciation for Kyrie Irving. Because when he was down, because when the Nets was down to start the year, y'all was just destroying that man. How much of a distraction he is and how much of a bad teammate he is. And that. And now he's back from that BS suspension that y'all let ride. And now they're 17-12. They beat my Wizards tonight, who I'll get to in a minute. The Wizards have lost 7 straight. So, but I now I know why. And again, I'll get to that in a minute. Brooklyn's won 4 straight. They're 8-2 in their last 10. And they're figuring it out. All them Ben Simmons jokes. Anybody got any more Ben Simmons jokes? Is Ben Simmons still scoring under 10 points or not? I haven't been following it because y'all haven't been shoving it in my face. And that's what I don't like about that old media. It's all fun and games. We could take personal shots all day when the person down. All of a sudden, the person turn it around and you go get quiet. You go disappear. You go get low. Your energy change. Where that same energy?
Get low, bus.
Like, where's the energy? Oh, y'all ain't got none. Ben Simmons, 10-8-5. Ben Simmons averaging 8.2, 6.6 rebounds, 5.9 assists. Now, I've joked on Ben Simmons and been hard on him to a fault, but it was at a certain point, it just got out of control. He should have shot that layup. But that's it.
They're number 4 in the East.
And coming.
He was just number 13 just about a week ago.
And that's how quickly it can change. And so I really wish there was more consistency from the media. Man, the Memphis Grizzlies and Atlanta Hawks played their G League squads tonight. I just looked at who played. Ain't nobody played.
I've been seeing a lot of games like that.
I think it's the NFL, the preseason thing, man.
The Nets they didn't play Kyrie, KD, Royce O'Neal, Seth Curry.
Like 8 people didn't play, and they still won.
And they still won
because that team has rallied around the cause. But nobody's gonna give Kyrie the credit for that. There's gonna be, well, they had to overcome Kyrie and come together. Not him stepping up for what he believed and galvanized his team, because that's how corny y'all media jokers are. Y'all always want to write a negative narrative on people y'all don't like. But I just wanted to take some time. Shout out to the Brooklyn Nets. I'm rooting for you. As much as I love Steph Curry and as much as I would love him to win another title, to shut up y'all non-Curry loving point guard haters, man, it would be so sweet for Adam Silver, that Kyrie Irving, that championship trophy. There's little I want more than to see Adam Jewish Silver hand Kyrie Irving that trophy. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen, but Lord knows I'm praying for it. That's my 2 cents. Your thoughts on the Nets this season?
I think when the season started, we all believed that the Nets wasn't the team that started off the season. We was like, just some little controversy there, get it together. Now they got rid of Steve Nash. Kyrie got his little suspension and whatever the Nets tried to do to my man. Nike suspended. Well, Nike got rid of Kyrie. Now KD is healthy. Kyrie's moved on from all his situations. The Nets finally got their head coaching situation together. And now everybody's finally believing in each other. Now they hooping. That's exactly that's all it takes, is to dial down some of that outside noise and start hooping. You know what I mean? And it sucks that some of these old media or media period try to put so much controversy on one player. Try to make it seem like one player was the cancer of all this. And now that one player who is out here hooping is now, where's the controversy at now? What is this reason of the Brooklyn Nets success? Why have they been winning? Because it damn sure wasn't like this when it was all ugly for Kyrie. Now that Kyrie's in a good headspace, he's out here being Kyrie. The Nets are now coming together and look like a team. So I'm starting to believe that it was the media and the Nets that was causing this controversy and making it seem like it was Kyrie. I never believed that it was Kyrie anyway. So shout out to Brooklyn, man. Just keep on showing everybody wrong. And then if y'all can so happy to catch Boston or Milwaukee or at least stay in this top 14, I guarantee you not everybody's about to hop on the Brooklyn Nets bandwagon. I guarantee you that everybody's about to become a Kyrie Irving fan now. So everybody. So this, I can't normally say what I like to say, but just watch. The bandwagon is about to grow.
And that's be the corny stuff, dog. That be the corny stuff. But we will have to wait and see. Before we get out of here, I gotta address my Washington Wizards.
Hold up. Oh, I got one more. I want to talk about one topic too.
Oh, yeah,
they got to get love. They got to get love.
Kyle Kuzma.
Ooh, that too. What's two more things we got to talk about this?
Some people, you just got to act like you've been there before, bro. Like,
You been there.
First time you get a nice little lady, you don't know how to act. You got you a nice little situation where you're featured in an offense and you putting up some numbers and you starting to get some attention and your value's high. Don't overplay your hand, bro. Don't overplay your hand. You ain't BI. You good, but you ain't them. But here's the problem. And here's why Kyle Kuzma thinks the way Kyle Kuzma thinks. I'm going to break this down real slow. And Kenny, I hope you see this. But if you don't, that's too bad.
You'll see it tomorrow.
You know what Kyle Kuzma's averaging this year? 21 and 7.7 rebounds, almost 21 and 8. I live in a group chat with these gentlemen who continue to scream me down that somebody averaging, was it 17 and 8? Are those numbers?
Boy, here we go.
Let me just
Man, y'all had my group chat. Y'all had that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. 17 and 9. Basically 17 and 10.
Booming this afternoon. I
So
had to put my phone on silent because of y'all.
We got 17 and 10 and 21 and 8. Those are pretty comparable. And y'all scream me down that somebody averaging 17 and 9 is a max player and deserves to have the offense ran through him. So what the heck is Kyle Kuzma supposed to think when he's the number 1 or number 2 on a team? 21 and 8. What's he supposed to think? He's supposed to think I should get 20 million and play in a big market. It's because of y'all supporting mediocrity and diminishing the greatness. You keep putting pigeons with eagles.
Well, first of all, pigeons can't fly with eagles because pigeons can't go that high. So that means eagles have to fly with pigeons. So
the point is,
I'm just saying.
Get the pigeon killed because you hyping it up like it's an eagle. And the pigeon gonna go try and fly.
Like an eagle.
You've been hyping it up. And then reality's gonna set in. And that joker gonna be mid-flight, and it's too late. Oh. And I just be trying to say, I know you hot, but you still a pigeon. And that's just what it is. It ain't personal. I don't know you from nobody.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
That is exactly what I was looking for. And yes, it was personal.
But if it walk like a frog, hop like a frog, and eat flies like a frog, it's a frog. And if you about to tell me that DeAndre Ayton is a max player, then Kyle Kuzma is a max player. And those are not max players. And that's my whole point. If we start giving max contracts, people averaging 17 points per game, they get benched when their team needs the most. What are we sending to the kids? What are we saying?
I'm not fighting this battle with you tonight, Ray. I can tell you that you ain't baiting me to go in here and fight this DeAndre Ayton situation.
This was for Coach Kenny. But Father Time tapped him on the shoulder and said, son, it's time for you to lay down. You're too old, man. You're too old. But that's it. Kyle Kuzma, get over yourself, bro. You ain't that. I've been rooting for you. I rode for y'all. But now I see why we didn't lost 7 in a row. Because your focus didn't change. You worried about money and playing in a big market. Bruh, lead us to the playoffs and go make a playoff run and lead a team, and then you get that money. You don't got to request what your contract will be. The market will dictate itself based on your play. But if you're one of the best players on the team and we done lost 7 in a row, that's at your feet. You don't get to run from that. See, I ain't with it, bro. I get it. But you ain't supposed to be, you don't start dropping discontentment tweets and messages through your people when the team losing. You wasn't saying that earlier in the year when you was cooking. Now all of a sudden you're on the slide. Now you want a big market. You want $20 million a year. Go earn it. You out there with KP and Bradley Beal and some other people. Y'all are underperforming. So don't talk to me about getting paid when you putting up numbers and y'all losing. I don't care if you put up 35 and a loss. Do something historic if we talking about losing. This kid's got it all messed up. Kenny talking about he had 32 and 15 and a loss. I watched the man get 53 in a dub. They are not the same. One's an eagle, one's a petty pigeon. All right. You said there was something you wanted to get to before we get out of here.
All right, guys. Kyle Kuzma, you're not a max player yet, buddy. I'm a fan of you, but like Ray said, man, you ain't really did nothing, in my opinion, to actually to put yourself in that max player position.
Sorry,
right, ladies.
DeAndre Hopkins stripped of the ball, and the Patriots have returned it for a touchdown. Game-breaking play. Back to you.
Anywho, it is one team I would like to give a big shout out to. And I'm pretty sure everybody keep hearing me raving about them. No, it is not my favorite team, but they is the biggest surprise team that I have right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not been paying attention to the NBA and to this one particular team, I'm gonna tell you why you should. The New Orleans Pelicans I think we can finally say that these guys are a playoff team. No longer a play-in team, a playoff team. The New Orleans Pelicans started off the season as a number 8 seed. And guess what seed they are sitting currently right now?
Break it down, break it down, break it down, break it down.
They are number 1 in the West right now. 18 and 8, 12 and 3 at home, 6 and 5 away. And they is no longer what y'all don't think they ever was, but they most definitely show they are not scared of the Phoenix Suns. They want all the smoke from Phoenix, all of it. And it got to the point that my man Zion Williamson, normally people like to dribble out the clock. And this is the controversy I want to talk about.
Let's get
that dribbling out the clock crap. No, I don't like it. That is soft. No, there's so many different things that why I call it soft. Number one, the Phoenix Suns was trying to score before Zion got that dunk. So if you was trying to score, which means you was trying to get closer to that lead, you was trying to pad in your stats, you was trying to show something that you didn't show throughout that whole game. So now that Zion didn't dribble out the clock, he did a 360 windmill that had the whole stadium cranked. You don't get mad and now you want to do all this push and shove and trying to make Zion feel bad. Because number one, as we was taught as we was kids, that you play until the whistle blows. You play until the clock hits 0-0. So dribbling up the clock is not an option. If Phoenix, you tried to score first, you can't get mad when Zion went on here and scored. Secondly, if you put in, when it's that scrub time and you want to clear out your bench, you don't tell your bench to go in there to dribble out the clock. You tell your bench to give you a spot to show something. Or you tell your bench, this is your time to get on tape to show these other teams that if they were looking to do a trade for you, you looking to advance your career, this is now your time to go out here and put on some tape. And these guys to go out here, they're trying to score. They try to do these windmill dunks. They try to do anything possible to get their name. You don't ask them to dribble off the clock. They go out there and they play. So, for you to ask New Orleans Pelicans and then try to pick a fight and try to get all in your feelings. And this is also shout out to the Utah Jazz because y'all did the same thing with the Minnesota Timberwolves. That dribbling out the clock crap, no. Keep playing to the whistle, to the 0-0. I don't think Zion should have came out and apologized for anything. You deserve to be number one. You said you know what it felt like to see your guys cry in that locker room, hurt when Phoenix put y'all out the playoff. This is a statement game. This lets Phoenix know that we are no longer the new kids on the block. We are not the little cousins that you used to beat up when you felt like we came over your house. No. The New Orleans Pelicans are for real. And I think everybody needs to start paying attention and give out my man, oh man, I can't think of that coach. That coach just left my tip of my tongue that quick.
Who is that coach?
Yeah, the head coach, New Orleans.
Is that Alvin Gentry? Is that Nah, it's the one. It's kind of short, stocky dude.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
I'm gonna look it up. Willie Green.
But Willie Green, it is time to give Willie Green his flowers, man. Udoka was not the only coach that had good success last year. Willie Green has good success too. Willie Green needs to also be mentioned as one of these up and coming coaches in this league now. Willie Green need to get his name in coach of the year also when you bring in Boston head coach up. The New Orleans Pelicans are serious, man. They got a good core with B.I. and C.J. McCollum. And when Zion is healthy, they are most definitely more dangerous. Zion looks like he's on a mission every time he's on the court. That man look like he's on beast mode. So that's my surprise team. New Orleans Pelicans, man. Keep balling, keep hooping. I'm rooting for y'all. Y'all, like I said, y'all not my favorite team, but y'all are my favorite team to watch when y'all on TV. Shout out to New Orleans.
Yep. Since you're doing a shout out, I got to do another one. And you know me, I like to pat myself on the back. But if you look just a little down those standings, if you find your way to the number 5 spot, I said to start the year that the Los Angeles Lakers would be the worst team in the state of California. And boy, does that look to be ever true.
So far, still is. Only by like what? 4.
They're 11 and 15.
4 games.
The next closest would be Golden State at 14 and 13.
Yeah.
I was called crazy, deranged, all those things Martin used to say. But the Sacramento Kings are here, ladies and gentlemen. And barring injury, they are a good basketball team. Keegan Murray, I know people talk about Paolo. Keegan Murray is a ball player. I said that coming out of Iowa. I said that he is a ball player. They are fun to watch. I don't know if y'all got league pass. They are entertaining. They get up and down. They shoot. They're just a good group. Now it's a cursed franchise, similar to like the Raiders or the Broncos quarterback position.
The Blazers. I think they curse. They can't have a big man.
I don't know. I think they're gonna be here, man. I think they got staying power. They showed they were all in by trading Halliburton, which a lot of people didn't like, but for Sabonis. But yeah, shout out to the Kings.
You think the Kings gonna make the playoffs?
Yes.
Play in or playoffs?
Let me see what I have. I predicted because I know I had them in something. I just didn't know how far. I have them as a playoff team. I have them as one of them.
Okay, so the top 16.
8. Just 8. It's 10, but you know the tournament, so it's top 8.
I normally stop at 6 because that 7 through 10 gotta.
I got you.
You know, gotta do that play.
I think they might end up in that 7 to 10. I think they will win the necessary games to get into the playoffs. I think they can. I think they got it.
I gotta watch a game with them. I haven't watched a Kings game yet, so I'm gonna have to tune in one of their games.
Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you tonight. I appreciate you joining us, being patient with us. I know we've been in and out a little bit. It's the holiday season, so please give us the grace. We got families, we got life that's be going on, but we definitely want to get to y'all as much as possible. So Dev, appreciate it. Kenny, he's coaching and running around trying to get a job on somebody's bench. But more power to him. But he gonna have to
interception.
That was a terrible throw. I don't know what the quarterback was looking at. Colt McCoy, another retread that shouldn't be in the league, but you know how it go. I ain't about to get started. But yeah, man, y'all have a blessed one. We will plan to see y'all on Thursday. And yeah, stay up.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.